everyone, and welcome to the Women's Mortgage Network's new podcast. Wow, that was almost a tongue twister. This is Christine Beckwith, CEO and founder of 2020 Vision for Success Coaching. And I'm here today with Molly Meeker, the wonderful one and only from Edge Home Finance, which we love. And we are both serving this year as board of directors on this year's board. And so, Molly, what has your experience been so far with all the hard work that you see going in?
It's been great. I mean, I am new to the broker world. So I came over in February and jumped right in with both feet and got quickly connected with this group of women. So it's been really great for me and an awesome experience to so quickly find a tribe that I actually didn't even know existed. So it's been great for me. And I'm so excited for our event because there'll be 200 more of us in the room together, I think, is how many we're expecting. Yeah, I'm really excited to mingle with more of my broker kind.
I love that too. I have been a member of some shape or form and even a director for a couple of years of this Women's Mortgage Network for about 6 years now. And so it's been really cool for all of you that are tuning in right now to watch the evolution of this group. Every single year, I will say, the new incoming director will come in and put their own twist and style on things, and they have a new mission, which is obviously collaborated amongst all of the members of the board. Right now, if I were to compare to where we started to now, we have one of the largest boards that we've ever had. And what I am seeing already is how we're making very quick checking the to-do list off with this many hands to help. So it's super exciting. And I'm going to dive into today's topics. We're here really to talk about best practices in sales, building your database, a little social media talk. That's what Molly and I decided we both felt we could share or lend to the expertise. I will get one housekeeping out of the way and say, please check out our event. That will be part of the Fuse event. It's not hard to find all kinds of things online and on social media just by putting in WMN at Fuse, and you will find whatever you need about our event. It's going to be amazing. So I'll get us started. And Molly and I are going to go kind of back and forth on the topics, but database seems to be a hot topic. And one of the reasons that we chose this is that right now in the mortgage industry, it is a game of prospecting. There's some stats that I'll share that I'm happy to share. Nationally, obviously, mortgage relicensing is way down from where it is or where it was. And what that tells us is that there's less of us here originating. And it's probably been hard. We know that for 2 or 3 years because of the rate environment, the economic environment, but we know it's super rich in equity. And of recent, rates have been more palatable to consumers. I think the pain for consumers has been greater with debt ceilings being reached and reserves being completely devastated in homes. They are now seeking cash out refinances. However, there's a lot of folks that are here that are still kind of selling the old way or selling a different way. And when we look at expert marketing and we look at the ways that you can build your business, managing your database becomes really huge. So I'm going to lob it over to Molly to talk a little bit about, Molly, in your perspective, how important is it right now to be on top of your CRM and your past client base?
Yeah, 1,000 out of 1,000. I talked about this the other day and talking to a lot of people about just being in front of this curve, and you never know what someone's pain point is. So a few months ago, to be honest, I was doing a ton of HELOCs, right? Don't lose your rate, do the HELOC. And that seemed to make a lot of people happy. With interest rates where they are now, if you're not going back through your database or data bank, as a lot of people like to say, you're at a complete disservice. And earlier someone asked me, well, when should I start that? You should have started a couple weeks ago, right? You can ask people for their mortgage statement. You can touch bases with them, just refresh yourself with them. You can send in emails or text, whatever your version is. I have a very robust CRM. So for me, like me and my team were in it all the time. And I will tell you that probably 30%, maybe more of my business comes out of my database. word of mouth, and just being able to message someone and say, hey, send your mortgage statement over if you want me to take a look at it for free and just see if anything can happen. And we did that Monday again, and we got 10 mortgage statements over. So really big deal, because everybody's interested in saving money. Have you ever met anybody that's like, no, no, I'd rather pay more. How can I pay more? So for us, it's everything. It's not just a refi market. It's staying in front of everyone. But right now, obviously, rates are the hot topic for refi. So, I mean, you always want to be working your database. That's always something that you should be doing. And it's hard because it costs money and it's expensive. And some people just don't have it. And that is then use a Google Sheet, whatever it may be, but do something to keep track of your people.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love hearing how much you're focused on your CRM for years and years. I obviously was sales leadership for 2 national companies, and we were always focused on our CRM. And I have to tell you, it was like pulling teeth sometimes with originators, one, to learn their CRM really intricately. I know in the broker world, what's wonderful about being an entrepreneur and being your own boss, or working in an entrepreneurial mindset on an even deeper level, is that you're paying for your tech stack. So you're paying for your CRM. And if you're going to pay for your CRM, you're more than likely going to be like working that religiously. I think everything's a timing thing. When I think about home ownership, and I think about people buying, and I think about people, let's face it, mortgage process still as easy as it is compared to the past, with, so much electronic, features and ease of doing an application with all of these wonderful systems. It still is work. It is still time consuming. It's still not fun. And I think every homeowner wants to make an educated decision. Nobody has wanted to raise their interest rate from these low rates that they got in this really low market in the last few years. Nobody wants to do something stupid like they always believed you only refi to go to a lower rate. I think people are learning there are multiple factors that tie into a person's, health of their financial wellness in their home. And one is their cash reserves. One is, their debt ceiling. Equity is certainly one. Job stability is another. Debt to income is a factor. But at the end of the day, your interest rate is always going to be whatever it is in the market that you have to take action in to get financially well. And so they've been waiting. We've all been waiting. It has, the rate market is still volatile. We know in the next year it could drop further. It could. We've been saying that for 3 years. But what we know right now is it's a really decent rate for somebody that's in that high debt equity position to resolve their financial risk position. So stay on top of your CRMs. Ending that topic, I'm going to say this. Manage your database like your life depends on it. Visibility is everything. If you're opening your mail right now, you're getting more mortgage mail than you've ever received. I am. And it's because it's going to be a timing game. Is your neighbor going to go down the road? Are you going to be at the realtor's office delivering bagels when you see that other lender sitting in the closing room with your favorite realtor because you hadn't gotten there in the last month? So I think that's really the important thing. What do you think, Molly, the number one best practice is when we step outside of that, which we think is the most important piece? What's the next best practice for brokers to get sales in this market right now?
That's totally a catch-22, but for me, it's always staying visible with my realtors. I sat in a room of realtors this morning. I do a Wednesday morning huddle with this group, and looking in the room, I had loans going with 6 of them. And it really has to do with staying in front of people, staying visible, making yourself known, talking about what you can do, giving them conversation starters for their clients, talking about how do we get them off the fence, or how do we be very transparent in this time where people really want the education of the loan, which wasn't always the case. Before, people just sign away and I'm like, whoa, you don't even know what's happening. People want a little bit of education. You need to be in front of the client. You need to be in front of the agent, and just really making people feel secure in what they're doing. And I get asked all the time, like, when is the best time? Kind of to your point, like, rates, right? So it's not always about the rate. Like, do you want to worry about when your landlord's going to sell your house? Do you want to worry about when your next rate increases? Do you want to worry about whether or not you can paint a wall or have a dog, or, a backyard or be in an area that you want to be in. There's millions of reasons for owning a home. And knowing what your options are is very important. And that's what I talk to my agents a lot about, is like knowing how to kind of bridge some of those gaps with their client. And so to me, I would say it's probably hand in hand with the CRM, but my realtor partners, really making sure they know what's going on and keeping them completely in the loop with their clients, but also with current data.
Yeah, and educating them on whatever you can share from your perspective as well.
Yeah.
Second part to this question, what would you tell brokers that might be watching this today that don't have enough realtor relationships? How would you tell them to start to get in front of new realtors? What do you think the play is there? I'll add my 2 cents after you, but yeah.
That's a great question, because so much more since COVID, you don't see a lot of meetings or office meetings, but there's lots of clubs you can join. There's lots of social media stuff you can look at. Real estate offices typically have all of their people listed online. You can go on and check that out. You can look at people's production. There's all kinds of ways to look at that. In my community, there's lots of groups, so you can always attend things, meet new people, but also just show up, make phone calls, send letters are kind of a thing of the past. We still do them because I'm old.
No.
But there's 1,000 ways to skin the cat, but a closed mouth is not a fed mouth. And I think I said that the other day too.
I love that.
People need to know what you do. Your neighbors need to know, your friends need to know, your family needs to know. Like, you're not ashamed of it. You wouldn't be ashamed of any other job that you were at. So you need to be talking about what you're doing with anybody that will listen. And to me, like, my husband's one of my biggest advocates, right? He's out on the golf course telling all of his buddies they need to refi. I mean, it goes deep in our house, right? So I feel like there's 1,000 ways to get in front of them. You have to try something. And if you're really an introvert, maybe you're doing the letters, or maybe you're doing the phone calls or text messages. I don't know that that's as effective, but there are ways to do that, even if you can't just go walk right up to someone. So, I mean, for me, I just think it's getting in front of them by any means necessary. You can go to the same charity events, or you can sign up for all different things that they're doing, because realtors love to talk about realtors.
Yeah.
Right?
What's coming to mind as I'm sitting here listening to you, so many times, and I spent 32 years in the business. I know us old people love to quote our time in the business. Everyone will, by the way. When you get old and you're surviving, you know how long a year feels in the mortgage industry? 100%. It'll be a rite of passage for you too. But I've been coaching for 6 years. My point being, my job every day is to help mortgage leaders, executives, companies focus on where the business is at, tie it back to the market, best sales tactics, et cetera, et cetera. And, I've been leading, I've led entire organizations through a model change when, refis dried up in several markets in my time frame. We had to move from doing a purchase facing type model to refi back, all those different changes. And it's not brain surgery. So many of the people today that are successful that we are working with in our national broad scope of things and seeing success, they really are just the people who every single day are trying their best to show up. I think we're all trying our best. I don't want to insult anyone. I think everybody's working hard. I don't know that everybody has figured it out or is working smart. I don't know that there's dedicated time for prospecting. I think prospecting time is hard to fill these days. Like, we used to just grind it out because we had incoming, phone calls. Now we're sitting there trying to find the business. And so we give out a tip that says, if you could, as a rule of thumb, focus 4 hours a day, 4 times a week, we call it the 4x4, on trying to do money-making tasks, prospecting, whether that's outbound calls, whether it's going to your local board of realtors monthly meeting, like, it all counts, right? All the stuff. You mentioned hard mailers. One of our core 24 business fundamental certifications is on a class called Got Mail. And it goes into the psychology of receiving something that's hard. I love getting handwritten messages. I got something today. I opened and posted today on my Facebook. I don't think anything beats it. And so a lot of the stuff that you're going over right now can be very scary to somebody that isn't out there. I think some of the obstacles we see brokers facing with growing their realtor database or their realtor relationships is they already have somebody, they're working
Yeah,
with somebody.
sure.
And I always say everyone's working with somebody. It's kind of like going to a dating club or a date night, speed dating. Not that I've ever been to one of these things, and everybody's already married. Like, unfortunately, that's the problem you have to solve to in the mortgage industry. Every good realtor has someone. And so how are you going to raise your hand in not a cheesy, sleazy way, not in a cold call way where the realtors get hammered every day and don't want to pick it up, but in a way where you say, I have solutions. I'm really good at servicing. I always follow up, show up, answer my phone. And if your guy ever can't do something, I know we don't always want to get the crap that the other guys can't do, but it's a starting place. And sometimes it will showcase your service, even when you can't do a loan, because of the speed in which you returned, the politeness in which you operated, the thoroughness in which you handled the client. You might do several things in that transaction in the beginning as a mortgage pro that someone else didn't do, like take time to introduce yourself to the other agent or take time to introduce yourself to the title reps and the attorneys and so on and so forth. So it's a contact sport. We're going to leave that there. Summarizing these two parts and going on to the last final part. Number one, if you're just coming in the middle of this, you want to rewind this and go back to the beginning, because we talked about what the number one thing was, which was mining your database and your CRM. And Molly gave a lot of great tips about why her and her team are doing it religiously. And then we just talked about what we think the number two, maybe even with this, and that is nurturing visibility to your realtors and just being visible and networking and so on and so forth. So we're going to move on in our final part of this and share our best tips with social media. And believe me, I could give a 3-hour class on this. I want to start with Molly. I'll add any tips that she might not cover, but just, hard hitting top tips right now for brokers using social media to market for both realtor maybe and consumer business.
Yeah, so this is probably per person, right? Like everybody is in love with ChatGPT or some form of that, talking to it. I have people now that have full on relationships with ChatGPT, right? Trying to figure out posts and put things in writing better than they could. For me, social media and doing chat has saved me some time because I can talk about like, here's my topics and here's what I want to get out. I think social media is key. I think I don't do enough of it. There'll be times when I'm Johnny on the spot and I'm posting stuff. There's times when I'm a little less frequent. The whole point is do it when you can do it. I mean, obviously, if you can be consistent, that's the best. But also don't say, oh, well, I'm not going to post now because I haven't posted in 2 or 3 weeks, or I haven't posted in 3 days. Like, post, do whatever. The best thing that you can do, in my opinion, if you're not a huge social media person, is even just share stuff. So, so I find myself like not always being able to create something, and I'll just share something on my stories. I have some people that I specifically follow that I trust and some news networks and stuff like that, like rates going down or keeping matters current. I think it is like some stuff you can easily bop on there. There's people that have different forms of what they want to do. Some want to completely show interactions with their clients. A lot of my clients are super private. They don't want that. I have a hard time having any of my clients even wanting to take a picture in front of the house so that we can post it, right? So maybe that's not your deal. Maybe that is your deal. For me, it's just getting something out there, but it's also a mix of personal and business, because if you're only doing business, you're going to kind of probably not feel the effects of it. My best posts come from my dogs, and those are the most.
Mine too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be about business, but again, it's being top of mind. So putting something out there is better than putting nothing out there.
Yeah.
Nobody likes themselves on camera. Nobody likes their voice. Nobody likes the way their hair looked or the color they were wearing. 100%. We can pick ourselves apart until we're blue in the face, right? But then just share something else. If you're not feeling yourself that day, like do something different. But I will say there's a group, like for me, I share both mine, go to Instagram and Facebook, because some people that are on Instagram are on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Like do even just a little bit. If you're not doing anything at all, do just a little bit. And I think people will engage with you, and it will kind of be like, oh, wow, maybe you'll gain a little confidence here and there, because I'm not great at it. by any stretch. And I watch people that are, and I'm like, dang, how do they do that? And that's okay. And sometimes I'll share their stuff, or a lot of realtors post stuff. I'll share that. So you probably have some better answers when it comes to that. But for me, it's just doing the best you can to get something out there, regardless of it being personal or business.
Well, I love everything that you just said. I love that you're active on there, and like you said, just get out there and do it. We do teach social media marketing here, and I was an admitted non-social media user in 2016, having been a senior sales leader for so long. I didn't need it. I always say this, I had 500 Facebook friends and 1,000 old dusty LinkedIn connections. I followed Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if everybody knows who that is, but I learned his $2 a day theory. I self-taught myself with videos on all the different social media platforms, which you can still do today. You can, go into any search engine on any social platform that you're on and say, teach me the top 5 algorithms. And we all know that word today. It was foreign many years ago, but I followed the algorithms that Gary suggested for $2 a day marketing, which included posting 3 to 5 times a week, which will say that you're an active user. And if you think of your social media like your television station today, when we go on Netflix, we are looking at a variety of categories and a variety of things, and it's memorizing what we like, and it's suggesting stuff to us as well. Well, social media is very similar. It's suggesting connections. It's bringing us stuff that we view. It's probably listening if the microphone is on. And if you understand you have the power at your TV station to put up, if you're not putting up 3 to 5 posts a week, and believe me, the thought of that when I started was painful because I was doing like a once a month post. Today, I post 4 times a day on 7 social platforms.
Really?
And it's, to me, I'm going to say this, my marketing team's going to hate me, but it's like at a nauseating kind of level. And, I had to learn, you said something really important, Molly, when you were talking, and it's like, nobody loves to hear their voice. Nobody likes how they look. I had to really get in a place where I was leaving a genre of the locker room, if you would, in sales, where a lot of people were early on in social media joking about those guys that would be out there exploiting their expertise as kind of being cocky, conceited, bravado, whatever you want. And I certainly didn't want to come off that way. But I had a great marketing manager that I hired for 2020. And the very first thing she said is, have you ever gone to a national conference, saw a celebrity salesperson or a really successful person up on stage and not wanted to listen to everything they said, or not wanted to hear their resume or their wins, or see that gameplay video about all their wins? That gets you hyped. Winners want winners. Well, consumers want experts. Yeah. And so we've got to get past our own, worried about that high school friend that doesn't like us, which I call the lowest common denominator. And we got to get out there. So Molly, you mentioned putting up your dogs. I today put up a picture of my dogs. My dogs are one of 5 major branded, what's the right word, themes, if you will, for social media. Today they got new toys and they fought over the same toy, which was crazy. But I do everything, including plants. I do, house stuff. There's your dog now. Mm-hmm. And I will do all these different things, but literally 40% is business. And I've learned to do a strong call to action when I put up a business post. And this is what I believe, and we're going to leave it here. Get out of your comfort zone. Show them what you're made of. Show them what you do well. Let them get to know you with the themes that you're going to share on social media. Put your business intermingled with it all, and understand this is a long game you're playing. Those people that put up like a single flyer once and say, nobody called me, and quit social media marketing for business. Right. Trust me when I tell you, it's going to take time and consistency. Right. What do you want to add in final to that?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I can't wait to follow you. I must not, because I don't see 7 or 4 posts a day. So I'm excited.
Get on it. Come on. Yeah,
I need to move the
other side. Hopefully I don't make you sick. I have a lot of fun.
I'll keep you posted.
I'm my own boss, so I'm going to say I have a lot of fun stuff that isn't regulated. And you know, when I say non-regulated, I mean like I can say what I want. It's all
Yeah, for
positive, by
sure.
the way.
Yeah.
It's all meant to inspire. It's my genuine voice of leadership. And so in wrapping up, I just want to say, you know, and I know I speak for Molly as well, it is such a pleasure to serve. I'm going on my 38th year. I feel like every year is like the swan song of my career. I hope I'm not going to be one of those people that are here until I'm 80. But I really am honored this year to serve under Julie Yarborough, who is the director. She's doing an amazing job. So many, I wish I could name all the board members right now. But please check us out on social media. Speaking of that, follow us. Get in our Facebook group, Women's Mortgage Network, because we get a lot of fun going on over there and a lot of information about resources that you may need for your businesses. And, you know, I just want to wish everybody a genuine good luck out there right now. Like, my final word of advice to both men and women watching this program today is, you know, give it your best shot. I know every day is not going to be perfect. You're going to have bursts of energy. Lean in those moments and stay at your desk and work hard, because the next day you're going to be flat on your back with no energy. And that's kind of how it's going in 2025. And we're going to keep taking, you know, hits, but I think the wind is going to come back. So keep your sails up, keep the boat ready. Molly, am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait, hopefully, to see a bunch of people at WMN, because it'll be my first year and I'm super excited to meet people in person that I have been working with so far and I haven't gotten to meet yet. So come join us, find us, say hello, introduce yourself, and know that we're all part of this tribe together.
Awesome. Please reach out to Molly and I by messenger on any social platform if you want an invite to our event. And thank you so much for tuning in today.